All right, today what we're going to be talking about is completing a 2-column proof. So let's go ahead, let's get started. We're building on the last lesson. So what we're going to do first is we're going to label our figure based off of the given information. So let's go ahead. It says that AB is congruent to CB. So I mark that. And then it says angle ABD is congruent to CBD, and we need to prove that these two triangles are congruent. So first what we're going to do is we're going to write what is provided, and our reason for that is given. That's easy. And then we're going to write what's provided, and again our reason is because it was given. So easy, easy. Now that we have this information that's given, we need to say what information we found and then define it. So we're going to go through here and let's look to see what information we can determine. Well, I know that on this you have ABD and CBD, so that means that this is congruent to itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that segment BD is congruent to segment BD, and we know that because of the reflexive property, saying it's congruent to itself. And now that we have that, our last step is always going to be what you prove. So we need to prove that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD, and we know that because we have a side, we have an angle, and we have a side. Oops, that's bad. Let me try it again. Side, an angle, and a side. And remember, it needs to go in order. So this is the reason, and that's your statement there. All right. For this next one, you're going to go ahead, label it, and I'm going to give you a hint. Your first two is going to go here. This is going to go here. And the reason is because these are given. So like I said, and then right here. So make sure you mark your figure, and then your proof is going to go to the last one, or whatever the last part of it is. And then here's where you would put like side, angle, whatever here. So go ahead, I want you to try this one, and we're gonna do some more. So let's go ahead, let's do this one together. All right, so first off, I have this already marked up for you. So we want to do what's given, and I know that RO is perpendicular to MP. So RO and MP, so this is perpendicular, that's perpendicular. And if you notice, I put this guy here, and the reason is because it's given. Now, I skipped around a little bit. There's different ways to do proofs. You could write all the givens first and then prove each one after. What I like to do is I like to do given one at a time. So I'm going to do this first, and then I'm going to say how I know that they're right angles. Well, it's telling you right now, angle 1 and angle 2 are right angles, and we know this because it's the definition of perpendicular. And you can actually write the word perpendicular or not. I'm fine if you abbreviate, as long as you understand. All right, so this all goes with this information. And then this goes with this information. So now we can say we defined it. So this is defined, and this is the value. All right, so now that we've defined it, now we can say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. And we know that because they're both right angles, so we say that's the right angle congruency theorem. So define, then give the value. All right, so now this next part is what is also provided, where it says MO is congruent to OP. That is given. That's your reason. But now we need to know what other information we found. So this is your info found. Is RO is congruent to RO. Well, it wasn't given, but we know this because if you were to have triangle MRO and PRO, they both share this side. So therefore, it is RO is congruent with itself. That is the reflexive property. So we've given this, we defined it, we gave value, we were given this, and then we also found that. Now that we've got all the information taken care of, now we just need to prove. So remember, it's going to go towards the end, and you have triangle MRO is congruent to triangle PRO, and we know that because of side, angle, side. All right, go ahead. I want you to try this one. And remember, you've got, you've got a given. So this should go here, and your reason should be given. All right, then you need to give definitions and value, and then any information found. All right, and then don't forget this guy should go at the end. So try this one. All right, we're going to do this one. It's a little bit longer, but it's still the same idea. So given C is the midpoint of AY, so C right here of AY. So that's what I put here. C is the midpoint of AY, and I know that because it's given. So now we need to give it says it's the midpoint, now we have to prove the value of it. So this is just definition of a midpoint. So that's easy, we defined it. All right, we don't have a value for it, we just defined it. All right, now we need to do the other part. C is the midpoint of ZX. Well, that's the same thing. This is all given. And so this is just saying Z segment ZC is congruent to XC segment. And we know that just because it's the definition of a midpoint. All right, now we need to look at information that needs to be found. And for this, it does not say it, but we do know angle 1. So I'll make it a little bit thicker. And angle 2 are vertical angles. So remember, we defined it. Now that we've defined it, now we can give it a value. And we can give it value by saying this is congruent to that. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and we know that because it's the vertical angle theorem. I just abbreviated. All right, the last step is where you need to put your congruent statement and how you know they're congruent. So we know this is a side, an angle, and a side. So that's your statement, or that's how you know those are congruent by side, angle, side. All right, number 6. It looks a little crazy. It's not too bad, and I kind of helped you get started. So what I did was I wrote the givens in the correct spot. And then, of course, I wrote the prove all the way down here. So what you need to do is, how do you know this is perpendicular? So you need to give some kind of definition here. So make sure you've got that. And then, so what would you put here? And then here you need to say they're perpendicular. And then the last part, you need to think of information you found and give a reason and define it. So I want you to try this. This is tricky, and then this last one, you should know how to do that one. All right, so this is not easy. You have to think about all the steps, but look at your examples that we did here and how you can prove that. All right, so this is the completing a 2-column proofs.